So now we're going to talk kind of calm and collected about this New York gun ban. We'll start off by saying don't even think this is it for a second anything but a gun ban. Now is the time to stop thinking any of that stuff. This is not about the protecting the children. This is not about, I mean, I don't know how obvious we need to make it. But this is coming from a New Yorker. Most of my subscribers will know this, but I've been getting a lot of views and new people in comments lately because people are scared, and understandably so. So I'm going to break this video into parts. A, what it is. B, how did it possibly get passed? I'll explain exactly what they did. C, what I think people should do, and again, my thoughts on the issues throughout the whole way. First of all, I'm going to explain what it is, and basically each part of it, and how each part is bad. First of all, it's the New York SAFE Act, and SAFE stands for Secure Ammunition and Firearms Enforcement Act. You have to remember, they're always going to put some goody two-shoes name on this. It used to be the Assault Weapons Ban, and now Secure Ammunition and Firearms Enforcement Act. Nobody's going to go against something with a good name. Well, that's not true. Smart people will. People in New York won't. And I'm pointing to myself here because, of course, I will, but most people in New York, clearly as demonstrated, are absolute failures as human beings. So it's the SAFE Act. Now, what did it do? It is a gun ban. I'd like to get that out there again. It is a gun ban. We'll talk about what it did. The reason that that is a gun ban is because one of the things that it did was limit high-capacity magazines, which, of course, we know is another made-up term. Scare, fear-mongering. We'll get your support if we call it scary things. Actually, they call it high-capacity clips because they don't understand what they're talking about, as evident by this whole law. But they banned the magazines down to 7 rounds. Now, I've made a joke before that the number was a random number generator, and, it has no logical sense. Well, it doesn't have any logical sense. It's not random. They knew exactly what they were doing because, again, this is a gun ban. None of this double talk. We're not coming after your guns. Nobody's doing that. None of it because it's a gun ban. 7-round magazine now. From the time that he signed that in, you can no longer have any pre-ban magazines before 1994 because, remember, this isn't the first assault weapons ban. We already had an assault weapons ban here in New York. There was absolutely no need whatsoever at all to ban assault weapons in New York because we already had an assault weapons ban, period. People are acting like this is the assault weapons ban, and yay, because we don't need assault. We already had an assault weapons ban. When they pull this shit again, it's going to be an assault weapons ban again, and people who forget about this, see, this is exactly how it works. But magazines over 7 rounds are illegal. Now, if you had a 10-round magazine, up to 10-round magazine before this, if you had a 7, 8, 9, or 10-round magazine before this, those are grandfathered. You can have them, and you're going to think I'm making this up because it is the most liberal fantasy land thing I've ever heard. In fact, I use this hyperbole a lot, but this is the most liberal fantasy land thing I've ever heard. You can have your mags up to 10 rounds, but it is illegal to load more than 7 rounds in the magazine. I'm not joking. That is absolutely true. That is what it says in the law. So, as you know, when somebody's going to go on a mass shooting, if they even listen to this 10-round law, which is absolutely nonsensical if you think they will, I'm sure they'll only load up 7 rounds. It's like, I'm about to go slaughter 30 people and spend multiple lives in prison, but I'm not going to have to worry about that because I'm going to blow my brains out. But I almost put 8 rounds in. I was almost breaking the law there. I wouldn't want people to do that. And they said this 7-round thing gives law enforcement a chance. Right. That's exactly what it does. The 10-round thing was absurd. But now that we have 7, it gives them a chance. In case you're unaware why this is a bad thing, and you shouldn't be, this should be obvious that it is a gun ban. If I wanted to go out and buy a Ruger 1022 right now, I could not. I could not legally buy a Ruger 1022 in New York right now. And I'm talking about a plain Jane stock, it looks like my pappy's hunting rifle 1022. It is illegal to sell Ruger 1022s in New York now, because they don't make a 7-round mag for it. I've heard some places might make a 5-round magazine. Not sure. I know they don't make one for my Remington 597, which was my first rifle. Again, how anybody could ever possibly think those are the evil guns is beyond me. It has nothing to do with, oh, we're going to not hurt the sportsmen and the hunters. That line isn't even true, because while we're on that 7-round number, let's talk about something like 3-gun. Oh, I almost did that wrong. 3-gun. If you've never heard of that competition, it involves a handgun, shotgun, and a rifle. And it's a very popular thing. You talk about sportsmen, handguns. Every single Glock in New York is now illegal except the Glock 36. Every Glock handgun is illegal except the Glock 36 in New York now. Every single one of them, because they don't make 7-round magazines for them at all. None exist. The lowest capacity would be 10, or I think some of the 45s have a little bit lower than that, and the 36 would only be legal because it has 6. So you cannot go out and you cannot buy a Glock handgun today in New York State except for a 36. If you want a Glock handgun, I really need to emphasize this point. If you want a Glock handgun, you cannot buy one in New York today. It is illegal. There you go. Does that tell you what kind of gun ban this is? And I'm just saying Glock because most people are familiar with it. You can't buy an HK. I don't believe there's a single HK that takes 7 rounds. You can't buy a Walther unless you buy either PPK or PPS. None others. You can't even buy a P22. You can't buy any Planking 22 pistols because none come with 7 rounds. You can't buy an SR22. You can't buy a Walther P22. You can't buy a Browning Buckmark. You can't buy a Ruger Mark III. None of it. Can't buy it. You can't buy a revolver that has a cylinder over 7 rounds. So some of those 10-shot 22 revolvers, can't do it. The reason for that, here's my NA Mini revolver, which is about the only legal gun that I kept because, again, I lost them all in that terrible boat accident. You can switch the magazine out, so there you go. You can't buy a revolver over 7 rounds. You can't buy pretty much any semi-auto rifle because they just don't come with 7 rounds. You can't buy a Remington 597. You can't buy a Ruger 1022. You could forget about buying anything that even looks like an AR. We'll get to why that in a second. They do make 5-round mags for ARs, but we'll get to why you still can't do that. You can't buy a Mossberg Plinkster, all assault weapons, because nobody makes a 7-round mag for them. So, gun ban. If you go into a gun store right now, you're probably not going to find any legal guns on the shelves. A couple 1911s, maybe a few revolvers in the pistol case, some bolt-action rifles. That's about it, because everything else illegal. There is even I think Ruger makes a ranch rifle that is bolt-action, and it takes a 10-round magazine, completely illegal now in New York. And again, I really wish people would get this information from an actual New Yorker, because there are some scare tactics going around from other channels that, while you should be flipping out right now at this egregious Second Amendment violation, some things are not right. We'll get into that in a second. So I think we've covered the 7-round magazine thing. Okay. Number 2. They expanded the evil features list and cut it down to you can have no evil features. It used to be you could have 1. On that AR that I used to have before it fell overboard in the boat, I could have the pistol grip, but that was it. You couldn't have a flash hider, you couldn't have a bayonet lug, you couldn't have... It was neutered beyond belief anyway. Because remember, I'll say it again, we already had an assault weapons ban. This is nothing new. This is a gun ban. This is not an assault weapons ban anymore. This is a gun ban. I can't get that through everybody's head enough. Everybody coming from the other states, remember, we have a gun ban in New York. There goes the phone. That's fantastic. Okay, so they cut down the assault weapon thing to 1 feature, makes it illegal, and they expanded the features. If you have a weapon in New York State that is semi-automatic or pump action with a detachable magazine, don't forget that. If you have a weapon that is semi-automatic or pump action with a detachable magazine... Nope, somebody didn't want to talk. I heard the answering machine back there. Then you cannot have any pistol grips, muzzle devices at all. You used to be able to have compensators, not flash hiders, because, flash hiders are the scary things. They're the assassin things. None of it. None of it. You can't have even a threaded barrel. So you can't have the threaded barrel. You used to be able to have that because you could weld a muzzle device to the end of it, making it non-threaded. anymore. No threaded bales and no muzzle devices whatsoever. That is, flash hiders, brakes, compensators, anything you'd like to say, can't have any of it. You cannot have a pistol grip, I already mentioned this, but you can also now not have a thumb hole stock. Lots of rifles out there, lots of very, very popular hunting rifles have thumb hole stocks. Right out. No thumb hole stocks now. You cannot have an adjustable stock, telescoping or folding stock. Can't have any of that. You still can't have the bayonet log. I know how dangerous those are with those drive-by bayonets. And I think maybe they added you can't have a second grip like a foregrip, which you're not going to have your AR anyway because you really can't have an AR without a pistol grip. You can get one of those ridiculous California ones, but what's the point in that? There's no point. So we were talking about 3-gun. That's your pistols eliminated because you can't get one. That is your rifles eliminated because you can't get one. Shotguns, if you use a semi-auto shotgun in 3-gun, and I know a lot of people do, you pretty much can't have anything on it. You pretty much can't have anything on it. Let's take a step back to that magazine thing again. I'd like to mention this. Magazine in New York is anything that you could possibly imagine. It's an actual magazine. It's a clip. It is, and I'm talking about a clip like, you know, the M1 Garand clips. It is a belt, and it is a tube. Lever action, like your lever action 357, completely illegal because the magazine tube, you have to remember, the assault weapons ban part of it and the magazine part are still two different things. If it violates either one, you can't have it. The magazine tube on it is the magazine portion. It can hold, a lot of them can hold more than 7 rounds, like the 357 ones can usually hold about 8. Some of them can hold 10. Can't have it, because you cannot have a magazine, a tubular magazine, that holds more than 7 rounds unless it's for 22 rimfire only. That's the only exemption there is. If you have a tubular magazine that is attached that can hold 22 rimfire, that's the only one that there isn't a ban on. But if you can hold 357 magazine in your old Henry rifle, and you can put 8 rounds in there, illegal, can't be sold. If you own one already, it's illegal to put more than 7 in. There's that Fantasyland thing again. So I just thought I would add that. My Mossberg my Mossberg 590 that fell over the boat had a magazine that could hold 8 rounds. So I would still have it because I already owned it. Wouldn't be able to buy a new one at all, but it would be illegal for me to put anything more than 7 rounds in the tube. Gun ban. So you can only have, back to the evil features, you can have no evil features whatsoever. That eliminates all of your Ruger SR-22 rifles. There are an SR-22 pistol and SR-22 rifle, if you're unaware. That eliminates the 597s with any pistol grips on them. That eliminates your GSG-5s. Pretty much all of your 22 Plinker AR things. Your Smith & Wesson MP15-22s. Gone. Poof. So that's the one feature thing that you can't have now. Moving on. You guys are going to love this. If you don't think that this is tyranny in action, you're never going to, and that's it. You've lost the fight. Turn the guns in, and that whole thing where they said they're not going to come after your guns, they are coming after your guns. Literally, that's not like a I'm freaking out tinfoil hat thing now. That's the law now. They are coming after your guns. You either register them and get them taken later when the government plants another thing like Sandy Hook, or just turn them in now. So that's, they call it registration. That's their little loophole thing. They love that word. That's their little loophole thing to get around the law. But it's either turn them in now or turn them in later. That's it. They coming for your guns. By the way, they're non-transferable if you register them. So when you die, poof, they're gone. They're gone. That is confiscation. Confiscation in New York. This is coming from a New Yorker right here, so there's no confusion. There is a gun confiscation going on in New York right now. This isn't Alex Jones flipping out saying they're going to plant microwaves in your head when you go into the place to register your guns. I'm telling you right now that there is a gun confiscation going on in New York. Don't forget it. So you can register your... And it's not just ARs. It's anything with any of those evil features. Like if you had a GSG-5, if you had a Smith & Wesson M&P, register. So turn it in now or turn it in later. That's it. That's it. If you spent $2,000 on a custom AR, turn it in now or turn it in later. Whether or not people will actually follow that registration, I don't know. I know a lot of New Yorkers over there will bend over and take it, and that's just sad. That is just sad right there. So there's a confiscation going on, and the people are going to give in to their guns. So people in the free states, you keep that in mind. You keep that in mind. If anybody ever wants you to give an inch, again, you keep this in mind. So we've had 7-round mag ban, which is a gun ban. We have had the no evil features, which is a gun ban. We have had gun confiscation, which we all know how ridiculous that is. On top of that, statewide pistol permits now must be renewed every 5 years, and they claim that it's going to be free, but I doubt that. They don't care about their words. They also swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, so if they don't care about that, why should I believe for half a second that these are going to be free? But it's going to go like this. The people in New York with unrestricted carry permits, which, again, I won't even get into what I have. I won't even get into if I even have one. It's enough. My personal information is now going to be, that's it. After my guns fell off the boat in that boating accident, then that's it. But don't forget that the pistols in the state are already registered, so when they want to come and get those, then they can. They already have the information, just like they do with the people that are actually register their ARs. But so yeah, every 5 years your pistol permit's going to get renewed. So if you have an unrestricted pistol permit, when it gets renewed, that's just going to be imaginary now. It is going to be easier in California to get a concealed carry license. So keep that in mind. Gun ban. That means you can't have a gun in the streets with you. You can't have any sort of protection. Because, again, it's a gun ban. Don't let them put anything else in your head. Oh, it's to protect you. No, it's not. It's none of that. If it was to protect the children, they wouldn't have brought that 10-round thing down to 7, because that's completely irrelevant. That is totally and utterly irrelevant. It's not. Come on now. And then say, well, oh, you can only load 7 rounds in a 10-round magazine. No. It's a gun ban. That's all there is to it. Okay, so we've had 7-round mag limit, gun ban. We have had no evil features, gun ban. We have had confiscation, obviously a gun ban. And we have had the carry permits are going to get renewed. And that's if you get renewed. And again, they've given the New York State Police Gestapo just unlimited discretion as to who actually gets renewed. If there's any questionable problems with your mental health, like if you go on YouTube and actually speak your mind or something like that, it could very easily, you won't get your pistol permit renewed. They take your guns. Gun ban. On top of that, oh yes, don't forget, in 1 year from now, ammunition will require a background check, and all ammunition sales will be reported to the New York State Police. Yep. So not only is it a gun ban, it's an ammunition ban. Don't really need ammunition if you don't have the guns anyway, but I'm just thought I'd let you know. Ammunition is going to have to be, you're going to have to get a background check. You're going to have to fill out your form and get a background check to buy ammunition now. How many mom and pop stores do you think are going to run a NICS check to sell you a box of 22 long rifle? I think the answer is probably not going to be any. You're not going to be able to buy ammo at stores like Walmart and stuff like that, because most Walmarts don't sell rifles. Some do, most don't. So there goes, poof, there goes that outlet. Can't buy ammo there. Gone. Remember that gun ban thing? Remember that ammunition ban thing? Remember that tyranny thing? So, we're all that, so it can't possibly get any worse, right? You really haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything yet. You might wonder, well, why people in New York are complaining. You haven't seen anything yet. All private sales of firearms, poof, gone. Can't sell them anymore in New York. Cannot privately sell your firearms anymore in New York. Period. That's it. You can take them to a dealer and have the dealer do a background check on somebody that you're going to sell them to and have all that stuff put on paper, gun registration in other words, so they can track the guns that you have and take them away, just like they're already doing. They've already started taking the guns away because I already said there is a confiscation going on right now. So if you can't have any private sales, that's it. They can just track the paper trail right through the 4473s and that's it. Done. Gun ban. It's great, isn't it? I think he claimed something about mental health in there, like it's going to keep mentally disturbed people from getting guns. That's just utter nonsense. This was entirely about a gun ban. That's it. Okay, so that's pretty much the details of it. I'm probably missing a few other things, and if I do, I'm sure I'll come back to it. But that's the details of it. Number B, letter B. How did something this grossly, blatantly slap you in the face, unbelievably, Uncle Sam yelling on the top of the mountain with a megaphone, unconstitutional thing get passed? I'll tell you, had nothing whatsoever to do with the people's opinion. Nothing whatsoever to do with the people's opinion, which, coincidentally, if you go check Andrew Cuomo's Facebook page right now, you'll see that, because everybody is going on there and saying this is unbelievable, ridiculous, and all that other stuff. Nothing to do with the people's opinion. So how did it pass? Simple. Just the way any other dictator would pass stuff. He had a secret closed-door meeting with the Assembly, secret closed-door meeting with the Senate. Let me tell you something. This bill is 30 pages long. And it's all legalese, and you know how hard that can be. If I'm going at a good clip, I might be able to read and understand one page in 20 minutes. Because you have to read everything multiple times. What does this say? I have to refer back to this previous section with the definition. So maybe I could read a page in 20 minutes. Maybe. That's a maybe. I doubt it. I'd probably feel more comfortable with a half a page in 20 minutes. This bill was 30 pages long. They went in their closed-door session. The bill was presented to them, and they voted in 20 minutes. Think about that for a second. If you think anyone even glanced at the bill, I would say that you're wrong. I would say that you are wrong. And they did it at night when they expected the sheep to be asleep. But we freedom fighters out there stayed up and listened and watched this happen. You can see my previous video where we lose our rights live on camera for you. It was a 30-page bill, and they passed it in a closed-door session in 20 minutes. If that doesn't show you that they had ulterior motives or were getting paid off for this stuff, I don't know what will. I do not know what will. They voted mostly along party lines, but in the Senate, a lot of the Republicans stabbed people in the back. Again, it had nothing to do with the people's opinions. If you look at any poll except for maybe some people in Long Island, because they're pretty out there anyway, that says, do you support this bill or assault weapons? You won't find one in New York that says yes. In fact, most of them will wildly say no. Wildly, I mean, by like a ridiculous amount, say no. It has nothing to do with the views of the people. You'll get one crazy person that'll sheep along and say, oh yes, now our kids are safe, Governor, yes, 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 now our kids are safe, yes, yes, let me just bend over and you can insert it right there. Absolutely, sir. You'll get a few people that are like that, but we didn't want this. They passed it anyway. You want to talk about 27 lives getting ruined in Sandy Hook or whatever. How about thousands of lives? How about thousands of lives that you just ruined from these gun store owners that have no inventory now because nobody makes guns with 7 rounds? The thousands of dollars of inventory that they cannot sell now. Gone. They cannot sell the inventory now. So, what about those lives? Makes those 20 kind of look petty, doesn't it? Yeah, so they had a closed-door session. 30-page bill, did it in 20 minutes, passed. And about an hour after it passed the Assembly, it had already passed the Senate the night before, there he was, Ratface himself, signing the bill with all the pens so he can be known as the one that did something. He did something. He destroyed lives. That's what he did. He did do something. This would be the time where you take all those anti-gun people and say, the ones that ranted, I wish the NRA would be at the funeral for every one of those kids. I hope that I hope that Andrew Cuomo personally attends the funeral for the careers that you've ruined with bills like this. So yeah, that's how it passed. Secret closed door, backdoor politics, like a secret police. Where have I heard of a place that had a secret police before? Where have I heard of a place that had a dictator that, you know, and if you want to go countrywide, that surrounded himself by children to try to get his views passed? Where have I heard this before? I don't know. But we're just extremists, right? Oh, that's right. He called us extremists. Common sense. Oh, that's the word that he spewed out a lot. That's the word that he spewed out a lot when he was doing this little secret thing. Common sense, common sense, common sense. That's all they can do. That's all they can spew. Common sense. You'll get the sheep. Oh, common sense. Absolutely. You have to be stupid not to believe it. And then they'll get people believing. And he said this in these words. Well, the people that don't want this are just extremists. Extremists. Hundreds of thousands of registered weapons that are now banned in this state, and we're just extremists, right? Nice, nice. So they can't say for a second we're not coming after your hunting rifles or sporting rifles now, because they eliminated completely nearly every sporting handgun, nearly every sporting rifle, and most of the sporting shotguns if people use the semi-auto shotguns. Yep, we're not coming after them. So that is I guess it's like the butcher telling the cows it's gonna be all right. That's all there is. That's it. That's how it passed, though. So now you know how it's passed. What do people need to do? You need to help New Yorkers. That's what you need to do. You need to help New Yorkers. You need to not say, "Oh well, yeah, it sucks for people in New York." You need to go post on places. You need to go on Andrew Cuomo's Facebook page, and you need to. He's got up there his post. Look what I did. I passed the most strict gun laws in the nation. He's got 2 posts up there because this is just a big political thing, and hundreds of comments, negatives. Let's make that thousands of comments. Go on there and tell them exactly what you think about this, as if it were your own state, because obviously the people in our own state won't help us, so got to get somebody. I've been reaching out to everybody everybody I could possibly talk to, news organizations and other people on YouTube, and I was just trying everything, because this is unbelievable. This is a gun ban in the United States. To give you an idea, the gun laws are much better in Canada now. We were borderline before with the last assault weapons ban, because again, we already had an assault weapons ban. Now they're much better in Canada. No, they are much better. You can own ARs in Canada. But, you can only have so many rounds, you have to be registered. But they have to be registered here too. You can only own so many rounds, but you guys can still buy them. We can't. And I think Canada just got rid of its long gun registry. I'm not sure if that. I don't know. Maybe a Canadian could chime in about how the AR thing works up there. But the Canadians have better gun laws than us now, and we have the Second Amendment. So you go ahead and you keep telling yourself that they're not coming for your guns. You go ahead and do that. So we already discussed what's in it, how it passed. Now we're talking about what people need to do. Gotta keep reminding myself what I'm doing, because I'm all over the place here in this video. Yeah, again, you need to do whatever you can for New York. You need to know that people in other states are not happy about this either, because hell, it could happen to them. I don't think it will, though. Obama gave his lame ass popcorn fart of a speech today about what the national thing's going to do, how he still rammed all the stuff right through with executive order anyway. And some people are like, well, I don't think that's that bad. You should be flipping out at the top of your lungs screaming how bad that is. What part of no compromise do you people not understand? This is what we have from compromise now. This is what we have from compromise, a full-on gun ban and confiscation. This is what we have from compromise. You get these dumb idiots I just saw come on the TV. Well, if you have nothing to hide, why do you have a problem with registering your guns? Yep. When you get to those sayings, you know that things are real bad. Things are real bad. I mean, hell, if you're not going to say anything illegal, should they be allowed to wiretap your phone? In fact, I think they should be allowed to videotape you in the bedroom. Because if you're not doing anything illegal, you're not going to have any underage kids over and have sex with them or anything, then who cares? You're not going to do anything. But no. You get the comments like, oh, well, if you're not going to do anything wrong, would you have a problem with registration? Right. Okay, then. So that's what you should do. You need to do something. You need to not get in the mindset of, oh, well, that's New York, so it'll never happen here. New York's a big fringe state, though, just like California. I don't really think it'll happen in most of the other countries, but still. Or not most of the other states. So you need to do something. We need your help. We need your help. You need to tell the people in New York that as members of another state that you are pissed off about this. This is unbelievable. Because you got to remember, we might be in a different state, but we're in the same country. And when the laws of that country, the Constitution, just poof, gone like that, things are bad. Things are wrong. When you have a gun ban and a confiscation going on in another state, it's kind of like, I don't know, some people that said, well, first they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I let them go. And then they came for these people, and I wasn't those people, so I let them go. And then when they get to you, there's nobody to stand up for you. I can't remember where that's from, but, you know, we're just extremists for thinking that anyway. And now my thoughts on the issue, I don't really think we really need to get into that anymore. I think you should probably know my thoughts on the issue. Again, this is a gun ban and a gun confiscation. And what I think should have happened personally is as soon as that pen hit the paper, he should have been impeached, because that is as clear as you get a violation of the Second Amendment, which has nothing to do with hunting and target shooting. He goes on there toting that this is great. He goes on there toting, I own a Remington shotgun, so I'm a gun owner, therefore I know what's the best for everybody. It's like going to Mexico for like a couple days, not getting killed, and saying Mexico's a safe place. But specifically to the Remington shotgun, let's not forget Remington is located here, so is Kimber, and I would hope that they leave. I hope that they leave. I wouldn't put up with that embarrassment. I would not put up with that embarrassment. There's just no reason to be here. No reason at all. Nope. So yeah, I hope all the firearms businesses leave. But that doesn't matter what I hope, because most of the gun stores are gonna have to close anyway. Nobody makes guns with 7-round mags. They're not going to start for New York. A few might. Maybe big companies like Glock will make a few for New York, and everybody will be scrambling over them, and the prices will be absurd. But most won't. You're not going to get the small companies making 7-round mags for New York. There's no reason to do that. Again, like I said, Springfield already doesn't sell their XDMs here because they're not going to make these restricted 10-round mags for these states. Nobody making 7-round mags just for one. No way. We are also currently the CYA cover your ass no-no zone. Midway has stopped shipping bullets here. They've stopped shipping all reloading supplies here. If you put in an order, it has been canceled. I just bought 300 rounds of 40 brass, which is a terrible tragedy because I lost all my guns in that boating accident, and now I can't buy the bullets for them. Yeah, I might be able to go to the gun store and get some ridiculous price on them because they'll be like Hornady XTP bullets, but I wanted to buy a bulk 500 pack, and Midway had a good deal on that, and now they won't ship any stuff to New York. So I mean, I'm pretty sure you know my thoughts on the issue. So again, do something. If you're in another state, you need to be going to flipping out on these people. I mean, you don't have to be rude about it. You just need to let them know this is unbelievable. If I had a flagpole, I would turn the flag upside down because that shows distress, and we are in major distress here in New York. This is real bad. Oh, let me clear up a misconception. This keeps going around. So if you have, by the way, if you have a question on these laws because you're scared or something like that, or you're worried about what we're going through here, ask a New Yorker, ask me, because we have already had an assault weapons ban, and some people don't know what we already know. Like one that has been told by Tom at Weapons Education and at Miller USAF, and I think there was some other guy. This keeps getting spread around. It's dangerous. You don't want to spread this around. And if you hear somebody saying something wrong, tell them that I told that it's wrong, because we've already dealt with this in New York. We know the way the law works here. They say, well, you won't be able to own more than 3 firearms because that'll be criminal possession of a weapon. That's true, but, and this is the big kicker, what you think of as firearms are not firearms. Okay, in New York law, I know it's unbelievable, but hey, so is this thing that I just rattled off for a half hour. A firearm in New York is an NFA item, like a short-barreled shotgun, a short-barreled rifle, and stuff like that, or an unregistered pistol. Unregistered pistols are already illegal anyway. Pistol permit holders have to register them, so they're exempt. That means if you're like a drug dealer or something like that, and you have 3 short-barreled shotguns, it's another charge. If you have 10, that's a different charge. That's just the way the politics works here. It is not. There is no ban on the number of weapons you can own in New York. Just pretty much that every weapon is legal. Just that little detail, but there's no ban on the number of weapons you can own in New York. That is false. Don't let people tell you that when they bring up that code and it says criminal possession of a weapon will be if you have more than 3 firearms. That the definition of firearms is not correct. They're not giving you the correct definition. I know it's unbelievable, but in New York, shotguns of legal length, rifles of legal length, pistols that are registered to a pistol permit holder, not firearms. Unbelievable, but that's the way it is. So if you have any questions on New York law, Ask a New Yorker, because we've been doing this for a very long time. People always ask me stuff about New York law all the time, both inside and outside of New York, because I've been studying it for years and years and years and years, as you can see from my channel here. So if you have any questions on New York laws and what we can and can't have and this and that and stuff, ask a New Yorker. Ask myself. Even if you're in New York and not sure, I can tell you. I'm on New York Firearms, the forum, all the time, which is a great place. If you're in New York and you haven't joined yet, you probably should. We get getting a lot of new members there. On New York Firearms, I am Darth Gamer 138, not Speed Dog 138. I am Darth Gamer, you know, like Darth Vader. I don't like Star Wars, but that's a whole separate story. So yeah, if you see me on New York Firearms, say hi, whatever, join. And there are a bunch of great people that can help you out with the laws, but we've just been going through it. So we've done it already. So if you have any questions on the new ones, while we're still learning stuff, we'll be the best place to give you information if you got a question on the New York laws. So feel free to send me a PM or post here. Don't ask me about registration and are you going to tell them to fuck themselves, or are you going to turn your guns? Don't ask me about that, because I will not implicate myself in any manner. And again, I don't own any firearms. They fell off the boat in that accident. And that's about it. So again, wrap up. Gun ban in New York and confiscation has already begun. That is all. Help us.